Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the She Knows Pro Football podcast. Once again, I'm Alice, aka the NFL Girl, and once again, I got my good friend Dominick here with me. Dominick, how you doing today?
Not doing too bad. Alice, we have some mixed emotions today. We had an outstanding weekend. Every single game was awesome this weekend. But then right before we came on the air, we found out that my head coach, Sean Payton, decided to quit on the team and is retiring or leaving for media. Or he hasn't decided yet. But so kind of mixed emotions. But I'm happy to be here, and I'm hoping we're going to have a couple of good championship games this weekend.
You guys, after that crappy wild card weekend with those blowout games, the divisional round was phenomenal. All of them came down to final plays. One of them even went into overtime. I'm talking spectacular games. That was exactly what we needed after such a disappointment the previous week. And this week, these championship games are going to be some of the best because these teams that got there put it all out on the field last week, and they are fired up. All of them are ready to get into the Super Bowl. So let's get started for our Championship Sunday. Starting with the AFC, we got the 12-7 Cincinnati Bengals headed to Kansas City to face the 14-5 Chiefs. Dominick, who you got?
Yeah, the Chiefs were part of that incredible game on Sunday night. Went to overtime. Patrick Mahomes really brought him in. Josh Allen and him both played miraculous games. Josh Allen maybe played a little bit better, but you can't say that Mahomes played bad because neither of them played bad. And he brought him back with 13 seconds left to get a field goal, and then got that touchdown in overtime to Travis Kelce. When the time needed it, they made the big plays. I love Joe Burrow as well. Love the kicker there, Evan McPherson. Saying, I guess we're on our way to the AFC Championship. They both have that cool persona, and it's really good to see the Bengals finally back in the AFC Championship game for the first time since 1988. I'm gonna be stupid here. I'm gonna go with my heart instead of my head, and I'm gonna say that the Bengals are gonna be able to go into Kansas City and win the game and get to the Super Bowl.
You guys, I love this Bengals team. I am all in on this Bengals team just to see the turnaround of this team. And now understand, last season, Joey B went down early, and that just kind of wrecked their whole season. And we didn't know how he would come back this season. We didn't know how he was going to match up with Jamar Chase, even though we had hopes that it would turn out great simply because they had such a great relationship in college. Turns out all of our fears that they would be, honestly, at the start of the season, I picked them to finish last in the division. I take that back, and I apologize to my Cincinnati friends and fans simply because I didn't know what we were going to get, and they turned this into quite the show. Honestly, I was ready to fire Zach Taylor and see what he is doing with these kids, where he has Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and Joe Mixon doing, and see the way that defense stepped up last week. My goodness gracious, they are a phenomenal team to watch, and I wish them nothing but continued success in the future. But we are talking about going against the Chiefs in Arrowhead Stadium. Listen, what Patrick Mahomes was able to do last week with just 13 seconds left on the clock, all of us thought the same thing, which was, oh no, Bills left too much time on the clock. Any other team, 13 seconds, it's over. It's a wash. We learned that with the Cowboys the previous week. That's not enough time for most teams. But for Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, plenty of time because they got some of the best receivers in Tyreek Hill and Nico Hardman, and they got one of the best tight ends in the league and Travis Kelce. Like, I'm telling you, this team is firing on all cylinders. The biggest thing that hurt them was the loss of Tyrann Mathieu early in the game, and that's kind of exposed them in the middle of the field. But Tyrann has clear concussion protocol. He is expected, hopefully, to play, God willing. So he'll be back in the middle of that field, which will cause sort of a little bit more of a disruption there. As much as I want to pick the Bengals, my heart wants to pick the Bengals. I want it to happen for Cincinnati, to see them get back to a Super Bowl. It's so hard for me to pick against Patrick Mahomes and these Chiefs and what Andy Reid has coached this team up to do. Even with everything, as far as there not being enough time and all of that, this team always somehow manages to get it done. So unfortunately, as much as it breaks my heart, I got to go with my brain and go with the Chiefs. Definitely going to get it there at home. Moving on to the NFC matchup, we got the 12-7 San Francisco 49ers headed to Los Angeles to face the 14-5 Rams. Dominick, who you got?
Yeah, this is a rematch of Week 17, obviously, when the Rams were up 17-0 at halftime, and they ended up losing the game. First time in Sean McVay's career that he was leading at halftime and lost a game. He was 46-0 before that. The 49ers just seem to have the Rams number. We talk about it every time we have a matchup between NFC West teams, that like certain teams just have the number of other teams. Like the Rams always tend to beat, for some reason, they always tend to beat the Seahawks. The 49ers always tend to beat the Rams, and the Cardinals are just there. And so it is weird. The 49ers are 6-0 against the Rams since 2019. I do think they're going to go in here again. They love to run the ball. I think we're going to see Matthew Stafford finally get through here. Cooper Kupp should be the MVP. He's not going to be, but he should be the Offensive Player of the Year. And I do think that he's going to be able to have another great game like he did last week, where he had 180 yards against the Buccaneers. I do think he's going to have another great game again here. Stafford's going to have a great game. He's not going to have 2 interceptions like he did the last time they played. And I think the Rams are going to be able to make it through and beat the 49ers.
The 49ers, I love this kid, Deebo Samuel. I love what Deebo Samuel can do. I love the elements that Deebo Samuel brings to a team, because they put him out not only as a wide receiver, but also as a running back when it's needed. And he always comes through, because that's the kind of player that Deebo is. And then they got Eli Mitchell in the backfield who's come through for them, and always count on George Kittle to come through. My question mark has always been Jimmy G, and it showed up again last week again, but they did manage to do enough to get themselves through, which thankfully they did. Still, same thing, came down to the final play or whatever, but they did. They managed to limp through or whatever. The Rams, meanwhile, Rams pulled it off. Kudos for the Rams. Matthew Stafford has to feel some kind of relief to get himself this far. He's never been in a conference championship before. He's never gotten this far in the playoffs before. So kudos to him to get there. And it helps that he has a receiver like Cooper Kupp, the Triple Crown winning Cooper Kupp. He better win the MVP. I have my feelings. I know who's going to win it, but he definitely is going to be Offensive Player of the Year. There's nobody that comes close to what he can do. And then OBJ stepping up towards the end of the season. We finally got to see the OBJ that OBJ said was still within him if he was in the right position, with the right teammates, with people constantly reassuring him that he could still do it and he still had it in him. So kudos to them to get this far. Now, here's the little thing. 49ers and Rams, you're right. Typically, the 49ers have the Rams number all season long. It looked like that the 49ers had the Rams number, but I absolutely think that the Rams can overcome that for the first time. So definitely picking the Rams in this game. I think they're going to get it done and get to their Super Bowl at home at SoFi. Well, you guys, that is our matchups for Championship Sunday. And as Dominick revealed at the top of the show, we got some heartbreaking news for the two of us. And that is Sean Payton making this decision to step away from the NFL. He has told this team that he is going to announce his retirement. Will it be a permanent retirement? Is it just taking some time off to reevaluate what he wants to do next? We're not 100% sure just yet. I am heartbroken, obviously, but Dominick, you are the bigger fan of the two of us. So tell me your feelings about Sean Payton and what he brought to the league. And also, what do you hope? Do you hope at some point that he may return?
I hope he does return. I mean, I'm sure the Saints would welcome him back after a year as long as he informed them that he is going to come back. I don't think that anybody's going to want that job knowing that it's just going to be a 1-year thing, unless it's somebody who's on staff now and knows that they're going to just have it for 1 year and as like a sabbatical type thing. I am upset. I did really like him as a coach, obviously. There were some times there where he was almost fired, but then he got him the Super Bowl with Drew Brees there. Obviously, we know what him and Drew Brees meant to that city, what they still mean to that city. And we know how much the Saints love him, considering that even when he was suspended for the entire year, they brought him back the very next year. I do think that this is just going to be a 1-year thing, that he does step away. I think he just has that itch that he's going to want to come back. We know Jerry Jones has loved him for a long time. He had been talking about firing coaches left and right just to get Sean Payton. He'd been talking about like trading picks to get Sean Payton. So unfortunately, since he was the offensive coordinator with the Cowboys before he went to New Orleans, and we know how much Jerry Jones hates missing out on people, I do think that unfortunately he is going to go back and be the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys in 2023. I think they'll give McCarthy another year. They'll let him go, and I think they'll probably make Sean Payton an offer he can't refuse. They'll make him like John Gruden type offer to come and coach the Cowboys, and I do think he's going to probably take that position.
Honestly, I'm very heartbroken for Sean Payton to leave. It sounds as though that He hasn't really said that this is a permanent thing. He said football is still in his blood and still in his heart. And so it sounds like that he just needs some time away. Regardless, I am going to miss him being there. It doesn't matter about Bounty Gate and him having to spend a year away from football previously under bad circumstances. This is an opportunity for him to go and, as we discussed before, maybe go and work at television, stay home and spend some time with your wife and kids, do something where you don't have to focus all your time and energy on football, because every story you ever hear about the head coaches in the NFL, it is not a 9 to 5 job. You're there like from 5 a.m. till like midnight, 1 a.m. every single day. It is your lifeblood. It becomes all consuming of your life. And you miss time with your spouse. You miss time for your children. You miss time with your kids growing up. And that's got to be hard. And so go and take some time, take a mental health break. I feel like everybody needs that at some point. And when you get to a platform like that, I imagine you need it even more. Go, like you said, go be in television for a while, or go fishing every weekend. Go do something that involves having just normal hours and living a normal life, and then see and assess where you are. Because like he's saying, coaching's still in my blood, and I don't know the future. I don't know how I'm going to feel a year, maybe 2 years from now or whatever. And at that time, like you're saying, there'll be an opportunity, if not with the Saints, or maybe with the Saints again, because obviously Saints will make a pitch for him, but somebody else may give him a better pitch, like a Bill Belichick type situation where you get to be coaching GM at another team, like, I don't know, the Cowboys or another team like that needs someone with authority and strength like Sean Payton has, and can will a team to win with whatever QB you have there. And I think he's the perfect fit. He's the perfect fit for the city of New Orleans. And so I'm going to miss him, but I want him to go and enjoy some time away. I get it. Trust me, I get it. And I'll be looking forward to whatever it is that he chooses to do, whether it's stay in television broadcasting, become one of these people one of these analysts on these NFL morning shows on Sundays, or if he decides to come back, I'm for it either way.
Yeah, I wish him nothing but the best. And if he does go to Dallas, can you just imagine obviously what he has done with Drew Brees, just imagine what he could do with Dak Prescott as well, and those weapons that they have there at wide receiver.
That's absolutely what I was thinking of. Like, absolutely, he could do so much with this kid, Dak, and just surround him with some good quality pieces. And the ability he'd have to coach that kid up would be phenomenal. So good luck, coach. I wish you nothing but success and nothing but happiness in your semi-retirement, as he's calling it. Well, you guys, that's all the time that we have. Want to thank everybody again for listening. Be sure to follow me on Twitter at TheNFLGirl320. Dominic, where can they follow you?
You can follow me on Twitter at EnvisionFF.
You can read more of my thoughts on SheKnowsProFootball.com. Dominic, where can they read your work?
You can read my work at rotoballer.com, expandtheboxscore.com, and I have some articles coming out on theathletic.com.
That's all the time we have, you guys. See you back here next time.